Hey everybody, your captain here. This is a video request again, and this might pertain to a lot of people. I read through it or skimmed through it a little bit before, and this is one of these things that actually pisses me off, where just because your parents are older and they're your parents doesn't mean you should fucking listen to them. And you'd like to think that, but it's just, and it's not even that they're evil, they're just ignorant, they're not paying attention. Anyway, let's go ahead and read this, and if you ever want a video request or need some guidance or wisdom, go to asselconsulting.com, click on the how it works, and it's all laid out there. Dear Mr. Clary, first of all, I want to thank you for your honesty in trying to help people like me in terms of making decisions, such as in careers or finances. I'm 24 years old, and I live in California. I've been attending a community college since fall of 2009. I finished with my general education requirements until the spring of 2013. All right, good. So you got that knocked out of the way. You didn't waste your time. So you do have your prereqs out of the way. While considering a major since fall of 2013, the common saying, just follow your heart and the money will follow, did not convince me. Good man. And this was due to me considering aspects such as whether a particular vocation suited, for instance, my values, the major's practicality, or what type of environment I was going to be in, etc. I also felt intuitively that some majors were indeed worthless, but I was not able to verify it until recently. Unfortunately, I constantly received subjective and different opinions from teachers and counselors, and even wasted some time and took other sources, such as career assessment tests, for example, based on Myers-Briggs, quite seriously. Yeah, it's ain't you a DTMP, and INTP, and ENP? No, I'm just a fucking asshole. Also, other factors like part-time jobs, class assignments, exams, and other responsibilities further delayed me from making a decision. I don't know about that. See, that's the shit you gotta go through. Everybody's gotta go through that, man, and that's what's gonna teach you what you really want in life. So, don't have regret. I already smell regret. Don't have regret. You didn't really goof up. Everyone thinks they goofed up, but you didn't waste too much time. You got your prereqs out of the way, which you had to do. And you're just sloughing through it like everybody else has, so that's good for you. In resolution, being continuously influenced by some teachers, my counselor, friends, and family members, I declared my major on spring 2014 in English. Oh, you fool. You write English pretty good so far, from what I could tell. Since writing was one of my likings, and due to one of my dreams in life is being able to write for theater or the screen. Sure, I'd like to critique Fredericks of Hollywood lingerie models and be an ice cream tester. It was during the middle of that semester when I found out about your channel and considered your arguments in regards to choosing a major. But as I further researched and considered the options of other professors, a few in the freelance writing industry, students with other web cities like College Confidential, or people like yourself in blogs, I still continued with the program and enrolled for this fall semester, which started this past Monday. Then I read Worthless, book which began I reading like 3 days ago, and since then I do not have the exact same perspective regarding my major anymore. I saved another soul again. Yes, we saved him. And to all you English teachers who aren't going to get his money, fuck you. You're going to have to get a real job. God, wouldn't that be great if there were no more English majors in English-speaking countries. Maybe I think it has to do with how I would have to deal with society's expectations, like my family, basically fear, especially a person who has been supporting me, and that is an older sister in her mid-40s who's like my mother. Well, where's your mother? She, of course, never went to college and does not understand my situation, even though I tried to explain her. But like many others, she believes that a degree is a must no matter the subject. I also want to be independent and take from her that responsibility. The teachers are already assigning work, classes are getting filled, and I do not know if dropping or continuing is the best choice. Some classes in the STEM fields may still be open, but I am not sure if I should sign up for them. The only fields I would consider so far, other than English, would be engineering, physics, or something like biology. I'm not sure whether I would like working at a lab, for instance, but the sole fact that I would be contributing a lot to society would be good reason. I thought of teaching English for the same reasons too, though just being able to transfer from engineering to a state university would take me at least 3 years. I don't know, it would take you 3 years. You'd be able to do that within a semester if you don't go to this semester. Do the requirements. Oh, maybe you got to take requirements to get into an engineering program. I see. I don't mind it though. I like learning. In terms of jobs I have done, I've been involved in door-to-door sales, been in an MLM company, which has to do with finances, working labor jobs for warehouses. I also recently worked for a cannery in Alaska this summer. Hey, look man, if you're willing to do it, go to Bakken or go to that the Merchant Marines, the guy that got the WAN ad up on my blog. I also know Spanish. My GPA is 3.5. I have no debt. What? Dude, you're doing it, man. But I'm not worried about you. Maybe the extra information might be helpful for your analysis. Thank you in advance. All right, so here's the deal. There's three main things, somewhat specific to your situation, but other people have it too. And so, two main things, but then one that's a commonality among them. All right. First, you are one of many where the parents have misplaced pride, or in your case, your sister, the family has misplaced pride in you going to college. Like, you were brought up poor, no one in your family went to college before, you're recent immigrants, whatever, and now our son, our generation of hell be the first to go to college. And what you have to understand is that college, university, education system, as well as some naivete in the population in general, made college an achievement unto itself. When in reality, college is not an achievement unto itself. It is just another big-ass expensive fucking hurdle you gotta jump over to inevitably get into the real world. Or so they make it seem. Now, as time has gone on, you see a lot of people who go to school for worthless shit. They've literally amputated off the right arm. They're debt-ridden, they have no real skills, and they're practically unemployable. And they also have this mentality and mental damage they incur, thinking that I did everything everyone told me to, and now my life sucks, and I'm debt-ridden, and their life is. I mean, it's the single worst thing you can do except for having a kid. I mean, I'm being serious. If you think about what's the worst thing you can do, it's having an illegitimate kid before you're married and you're young. The second worst thing you can do is have a worthless degree and go into debt for it. Now, a lot of people, especially if they've never been to college or not paying attention to the labor market, they don't study economics, which is a lot, and I can understand that. They just want to see their son, their daughter go to college, and they want you to be successful. But they don't take the time to study and realize that this is a landmine, or this is a minefield. And you can't just go willy-nilly into college, any degree, a good degree, and you're already on to that. So you know that before your sister or you start plopping down the money, and you certainly the time, into gaining a degree, it's got to pay off in the end. Now, there's two ways to going about doing this. The first way is the ideal way, and that is you try to talk some sense into your parents. Give them the book worthless. Say, look, mom, dad, sis, no degree is a good degree. And before I rush into this, and you bankroll it, or I got to bankroll it, we're not going to spend 70 grand willy-nilly and 4 years of my life willy-nilly. So I want to make sure it's a degree that's going to pay off in the end. There is no value into college itself. There's a perfect example of this. We have a local rep in the state legislature in Minnesota called Phyllis Kahn. And she's this typical leftist, support everyone who hates America. I'm going to live in this community. If she's by the U of A. She has an engineering degree and a master's degree in health administration, and I think a master's degree in an engineering field. And she's an oddity. I don't understand her because she does not fit the stereotype at all. She just had an IT background, very educated in real legitimate fields. She just never followed up with it, and she decided to go into leftist politics. That's a perfect example of wasting a college education. She didn't have to go to college to become a leftist, crusaderist, parasite politician. She could have just done that. But it was a waste. So you got to go to college to have some kind of point and purpose to it. It has to be a financial rate of return. If you can't convey these concepts to your parents, well then there's the second thing you got to do. And that is you just got to let them down. You got to say no. And the reason why is this. No matter how well-intentioned your parents might be, no matter how much they love you, they're wrong. They're wrong, and sometimes they are controlling. And you got to realize it's your own fucking life. It's not theirs. They brought you in here, but they don't own you. It's your life. And soon you may have to say, you know what? I've seen this a lot in Middle Eastern and East Indian families, Asian families, where if the kid doesn't do what the parents say, even though he's 22, they'll fucking disown them, or there's great social or shame brought upon the society. No, fuck you. You're in America now. All right? And fuck, it has nothing to do with you being in America. You're you. You're your own sentient, independent individual being. It's your life. You have a right to it before your parents or anybody else does. So what you got to do, and here's where the hard part is, you got to tell them off. Not impolitely, but you say, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to college. And here's where you're going to really find out if your parents are good parents or bad parents. If you made your arguments and you said, no, I'm not going to do it, if they cut you off, like, we're not paying for college, or fine, get out of the house, or you're no longer welcome here, they're assholes. They really never loved you that much in the first place. You really were an object or physical item to them. And they're more concerned about shame and face and pride. Look at our family. I'm a fuck up, but look at my son. He went to college. Dave's majoring in breathing, but he went to college. Your kids go to college. Mine did. I clean toilets, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm trying to give you the psychology. It's like they have nothing to look at themselves. They have nothing to press, so they look to you, not as a son or a daughter, unfortunately, but as a way to boost their ego. It's sick, it's wrong, that's how it is, and that's why I'm saying you got to cut them off. Down the road, there might be some reconciliation, they'll realize it. But this gets to the second point that everyone has to realize, and that is independence. I don't know, there's so few people that I thought it was more common, because when I went to college, I worked with a bunch of people who didn't have their parents paying their way through college. We all worked at the police department, and I didn't think of selection bias back then. But I came to find out, especially at the Carlslow School of Management, so many kids had their way paid through, or at least heavily subsidized, or had some financial support from their parents. And in doing that, then your parents have strings and power over you. Oh, you're not going to go major in this? You're going to go date that girl, or you're going to do this? Well, we're going to cut off your car insurance. Or we're not going to pay for your food. And they can do it. You're not whether they do it or not isn't a matter. The fact they can, maybe they wouldn't, but they can, means you're not independent. And you got to worry and hem and haw, like, how is this going to affect my parents, and not make decisions that are best for you. So you got to suck it up. This is where the life of hell comes in. You get to find a shitty-ass job that you can do homework in. You get to work 80, 90 hours a week, going to school full-time, working full-time. You get to not go to parties. You get to not go get laid. You get to not eat good food. You get to not have fun. You just get to work and study. And maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks you get a couple hours off and you could go bike with your buddies. Maybe. And that's the price you gotta pay. I'm just sorry, I can't lie to it. There's just no other way to put it. But you're gonna be independent. And it's gonna suck for those 3, 4, 5 years. Maybe you gotta take 6, 7 to get a master or a bachelor's degree, because it takes that long. You don't wanna do it full-time school, full-time work. But in your particular case, what you have to do is you have to find a job. And because, I'm speaking specifically to the requester of this video, because you really don't know what you wanna do, you're kind of floating, and you think, oh, STEM, I'm going to work in Alaska. Okay, you don't know what you don't want. You have no plan B. And there's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, if more young kids admitted they don't have a plan B or a plan A, and they're just following what they make wiser decisions. And so what I'm recommending is that if you want to get away from your sister and be truly independent and hedge against the risk that she's going to, well, I'm not going to, go work somewhere, figure it out. Go to the Bakken oil field, go back up to the cannery, though that sounded like boring as hell. Just work and build up the money until it becomes apparent in your life what you want to do. I can't say go into engineering or STEM. I can't say go into accounting. I can't say become a doctor. That's up for you to decide. But you're damn right you don't want to go to school for English. And you're damn right you don't want to go for the liberal arts. So if you're going to drop this money, you're going to drop your time, make sure it's an investment. But to do that, you're going to have your own money, and to do that, you're going to have to get a job somewhere. The key thing is to make sure that you don't get a job and start getting comfy. Like, oh, I got a job. Well, I got some money. I could buy an Xbox. I could buy a PlayStation. I don't really have to go to school. You could do it that way, too. I'm not saying that's bad. It's just that you seem to want to achieve a little bit more. So when you go back to school, or you go back to a trade, a trade would maybe be a great idea. I mean, if you're going up to Alaska, you got a little bit of an adventure spirit in you. Welders, plumbers, pipe fitters, people like that, They don't have trouble finding jobs anywhere in the world because that's everybody needs it. So, and you already have your prereqs, so I imagine it's only a year and a half, and then you get a trade, something that you like. So maybe consider technical college or community college. Whatever it is, you got to go and get a job and become independent. And so that your sister does not have any sway over your decision on what you want to do and what you want to major in. Because what the other option is you do what your sister tells you, and then you're in debt, or she wasted a lot of time, and you're no further advanced 4 years from now than you are today. So I'd recommend that. And then finally, this goes universally. Your dream is to become a playwright or become a writer of some kind. Good. Go start writing. Don't go to school for it. I never went to school. I hated English. I flunked out of 7th grade English. I don't think I ever got more than a C+. I'm being serious. I don't think I've ever gotten more than a C+ in English. I know freshman comp, I think I got like a B. College. And then, I don't think I took any real English classes or literature classes henceforth. But yeah, I never... But I got news for you. I'm a writer. That's how I make most of my money, is writing. None of my teachers were right. I've never heard of any of my teachers doing anything. You'd think, and I've looked them up. I've searched for them. Like, oh, where's Mrs. Johnson? Oh, where's Mrs. Viewer? She's dead. Ha ha! Oh, mortality is great. I've looked them up. I want to see where they are. And yes, selfishly to vindicate that they were losers and I was a winner, especially in their field. And it's true. They didn't achieve nothing. So you don't. I mean, my whole point is these people who are professors and teachers in English, like the professional, they don't ever amount to jack shit. It's the people who actually go and write. So you don't need to go to school for it. Just go and write. Come up with something. And you're younger, so start small. I don't know, blog something. Davis Arini is a guy to probably talk to. He's made that jump, or is currently in the apogee of his height, the peak of his jump from writing to filmography. He definitely could tell you all the hands-on stuff. That's a guy you definitely want to talk to if you want to do that. But the point is, Davis Arini didn't go to school for writing either, or filmography. So especially with this internet now, you don't need to do it. You just you go to get trained in it. You just go and do it and ply or sell your wares directly to your target audience. So, in general, pursue your dreams starting now, starting today. It's going to be a long haul before you get notarized, or any kind of notoriety. You're going to have to write some really good quality shit. You're going to have to do something interesting. There's millions and millions, and then millions and every more every day. So you're going to have to stand out. You're going to have to come up with some really good quality shit. But yeah, that don't bother going to school for that. So that's all we got. Larger point. Sometimes your parents can be the worst thing that happens to you, either out of too much love, too much control, or vanity and ego for them and pride. And you gotta know when that they're trying to make you do a wrong decision, and you have to be willing to go to the mat. And by go to the mat, I mean support yourself fully, and be prepared to have them fully cut you off. And that's finances. Wait till you're like emotional or psychological. I mean, do my parents really love me? Look how cynical I'm. It's so dark. Like, there's millions of you poor kids out there where your parents truly don't love you. And I'm not trying to say everyone. I've started getting claims of like, you're forming a cult. It's separate information. No, I'm not. I'm not forming a cult. Because I got no fucking compound. I'm not asking for donations. I make it purely optional. And I have no intention to leave. I have no plan B when your parents don't love you. You just gotta love yourself and fucking go for it. I'm not your dad. I'm a consultant you pay. All right. I'm not showing up for Christmas. It's just not happening. I'll go get beers maybe. But anyway. So yeah. But anyway, I wish the best of luck to you kids out there that got parents that really aren't in tune with the education bubble that's going on. But yeah, it's not easy, guy. I wish I could. I'm sorry. Did you want lies? Obama's over there. He'll tell you nice flowery things. And then you'll end up unemployed, making $9 an hour as a barista with your master's degree. You found my advice. It's gonna suck, but you're definitely gonna come out better than that. So that's all we got. Toodles.